All right, good evening. Welcome to another edition of EMS's ISAMS Top Tips. Tonight, I want to be looking at our Rewards and Conduct module. This is the tab here, and so there's my home screen. I can go over to the Rewards and Conduct, click on here. Now, the Rewards and Conduct, it kind of follows on from what I was showing in the last tutorial, where it counts and records the positive and the negative ISAMs that's been allocated. Now, it does other stuff as well. We can manage a lot of other things in there, but I just want to start off by showing you the potential of how it can help you understand your subjects allocation of your ISAMs, positive and negative. This is beneficial for everyone. It can be helpful for you to reflect as the head of house, for example. Our heads of department are also using this. Teachers can be using this, our form tutors. Subject teachers can be using it. And also our heads of year are also using it. This also could be a supportive tool for our counselling department, as can it be for our learning support team. So let me jump in and show you what the best way to start off. So kind of got this home window, and I'm sure we've all seen it before. It gives us a running feed of teachers that have been assigned, the students that have been assigned the positive and negatives. Okay, so you can see there the reward types, and it gives us that running count. What I'm really interested in is the tabs along here. You go to the reports tab, and this kind of gives you a breakdown of everything that happens at our school. And this is where I want us to become more, fluent in understanding how powerful this is and how we can benefit ourselves, our students, and the teaching that goes on. So let's have a quick look. Start from the top and literally work your way down. So we'll start at the top. There's a few different ones here that you can choose from. The Rewards and Conduct Custom, that's one that we're currently working on with the heads of year. That's an ongoing project. But the one that's quite powerful is the count. So the rewards, counts, and totals. So we've got that report that's ready to go. I'm going to run the report from, well, you can run it from any time if you want to know the last week, the last month. But just so we have some juicy numbers, I'm going to run it from the start of term one. So 2018, term one, populates the date there, and then I'm going to go to today's date, which is the 28th of January. Pop that in there, 20. Okay. So dates are good. It's now asking me, well, what do you want to count? So this again is referencing everything that we have over in pop the quick links up here. So our rewards and conduct, so it's counting everything that we enter in here. Okay. So I want to know, right, well, I want to know all the rewards. So I know the rewards are in, we're going to do all types because I want to see everything that it's counting. Okay. So all types. It will at the moment count primary and ECC, but we filter those out later on down. Okay, so pop down. First one's quite handy for our heads departments, subject teachers, etc. Is if you wanted to know the amount of, let's say, positive ISAMs that's being generated by a department. Okay, so I go down. It says ECC. I'm going to scroll down to. Let's take. I've been picking on science previously, so I'm going to now pick on. Let's take one of the. I'm not looking for the subject. I'm looking for the department. There we go. So that's a department. I, of course, can go in and look at. If you, as a teacher of those subjects, if you wanted to know how you're performing, but I'm going to just run it as a. Let's say I'm a head of department, and I want to know how we're looking for across the secondary science department. And then the only other thing I need to do here is go down and choose 7. I'm going to hold the shift down, 8, pop those in, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So now it cuts out everybody from primary and ECC. I'm not really interested in the student, but what I am interested in is, let's say, the form class. So the form classes that are being taught, obviously you can have a look at the things there as well. But to run this report, I'm going to run the Well, actually, I'll do year group. That might be a bit more interesting. 4 different options. I've got the web report. This loads really quickly, but it's only just for viewing on the screen. Word document, I've never really used that. Excel's good if you want to export it and analyze and interpret the information. Or the PDF, good for printing like it says there, but I wouldn't really use the PDF. I would mainly use the web or Excel. So for this one, let's run it. It should run pretty quick because it's not that much data. And there we go, there's the report. So it's coming up and it's given me the counts and totals for that date across the science faculty, okay? So along the top here, I can see, I did say separated by forms. Runs down there so you can see, there's all the year 8. Sorry, I separated by head day by year, then all the year 9. Excuse the jumble there, it's because it's on the screen view and I'm going too fast for it. That will load up again. So let's just stay up with the 7s and go back to the top. Positives, positives, I can see. Negatives, I can see. So remember what I said earlier about the positives being added. So that's a 4 and that's a 6. Now that looks like it was a competition because that student has been awarded the positive ISAM, but it's added 4 points to it. Likewise, he's also received 1 negative ISAM, but remember it was a -1. So what my totals are is give me the count. So it's saying, okay, so there has been 2 positives and 1 negative, which gives me a total input of 3. But there was those 2 inputs were awarded 4 positives and 1 negative, and the negative was -1. So that gives me that running total there. Okay. So when I do when I run the reports for the heads of house or for the assemblies, I will normally jump to the bottom and just count. So it gives me the positive. So year 7 in science, since the start of the year, have had 207 positives, but 334 negatives. So that could be something that the teachers could look into, discuss over at one of their faculty meetings, and maybe have a discussion as to what, sorry, excuse me, I've read that wrong. That is 127 negatives, positives, sorry, I'll try it again. 127 positives and 207 negatives. So I can see there the total awarded is that number. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. And that kind of gives you an idea of, what can we look at improving, what can we look at changing? Are we as a faculty adding in just negatives? I said in the email about the ratio 4 or 5 to 1 and leaning towards positives. So that's something that could be looked at there in a faculty meeting over a cup of tea. So let's come out of that one and let's look at another example. I'm going to come off. So up here, I'm going to come off the science tab and I'm just now interested in everyone. So all types, everyone, I've still got my 7 to 12 selected, but now I'm going to run the report as a head of house. So instead of year group, I'm going to have a look at academic house. And again, this is a report that I would use for assemblies each week. This tells me what the counts are like. Again, I'm not really interested in student names at this moment. I'm more interested in the actual statistics. So I can see House Blue. There's House Blue up there. This guy looks like he's a new student. I need to assign him to a house. House Blue, so if we scroll down to House Blue, I can see, there we go. So let's just scroll. I forgot which one it is. So positive, then negative. Let's go down. Positive is 1,918. Whereas negative is 676. So that's pretty good. I'll be happy with that. This is what I use to decide, okay, well, who's going to win competitions, who's going to be celebrated in assembly. Okay, so that was the first one with the blue house, and then there's the green house. There, and so on and so on. I can flick down through it. Again, it's been jumbled up there, but that's just purely because of the speed that I'm flicking through it at. It hasn't processed it. So that's the heads of house report. Quite an interesting one again. If you wanted to also look at your form class, so you're a form tutor and you want to know, hey Tom, I want to know what's going on in my classes. So I would take the filter off my year groups And over here in this box, I would flick down to, let's take, to start the top 7 one, just because it's